Hello everyone, I'm Chris.
And I'm Alan.
Yes, hello Alan. I'm a lion. I know you're a lion. Welcome everybody to Bedtime Bible Stories. And today we're going to have one of my favourite stories, which is all about Moses crossing the Red Sea with the Israelites.
Oh, that's so exciting.
It is very exciting. Now, you're not going to interrupt too much, are you?
No, I'm not like Jim, you know.
Okay then. So are you ready to listen?
Yes, I am.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Extremely comfortably. You are very squishy.
Okay, thank you. Right then, so let's remember the story. We've already had the plagues that God sent through Moses to the Pharaoh, the king, if you like, of Egypt, to make him let God's people go.
The Israelites?
The Israelites, you do remember.
I do. I do.
Well, he did let them go, but then he had second thoughts. Would you like to hear the rest of the story?
Yes. Oh dear, it sounds like a real adventure.
It is a real adventure. Well, when Pharaoh let the people go, God didn't lead them on the road, on a straight road into the Philistine country, which had been the quickest route.
Didn't he?
No, he didn't. Because that would have been shorter, you see. But God said, if the Israelites face war, they might change their minds. They might actually be frightened and return to Egypt. So God led the people the long way round by the desert towards the Red Sea.
Ooh.
The Israelites went up out of Egypt and ready for battle.
Oh, were they fighters?
Well, not really. They weren't fighters. They were slaves. They were used to being doing what they were told to do. But don't worry, God was on their side.
Cool.
After leaving Succoth, they camped at Etham on the edge of the desert. By day, the Lord went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud to guide them on their way.
You mean God was a big, big, big cloud?
He was no, God wasn't a big cloud. He was in the big cloud.
But what about at night time? They wouldn't be able to see him.
Well, actually, at night time, he was in a pillar of fire.
Ooh, that must have been scary.
Well, God sometimes is a bit scary, but don't worry, he is also full of love.
Yes, that is true.
So anyway, yes, a pillar of fire by night. And then the Lord, that's God, spoke to Moses.
Tell the Israelites to turn back and encamp near Pi-hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea. They are to camp by the sea. Pharaoh will think the Israelites are wandering around the land in confusion, hemmed in by the desert. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. But I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and all his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord.
How do you do that with your voice?
Ah, that would be telling. I don't even know if God sounds like that, but for the purposes of this story, he will. So yes, God was going to glorify himself by what he did to the Egyptians. He was going to win the battle for the Israelites.
Cool.
So when the king of Egypt was told that the people had run away and fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about them. They said, "Oh, what have we done? We've let the Israelites go and we've lost their services."
Yeah.
I mean, they were slaves. They weren't giving their services willingly, were they?
No. No, they weren't.
But they lost all those workers. They'd gone. And they thought, we're going to get them back. Uh-oh. So the Lord hardened the heart of the king of Egypt so that he ran after the Israelites who were marching out boldly. The Egyptians and all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen and troops pursued the Israelites and overtook them as they camped by the sea.
What do you mean overtook them? They were going really fast. Meow.
Yes, they were going really fast. They overtook them. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there, in the distance, were the Egyptians. Oh, they were marching after them. And the Israelites, all the people, were terrified, and they cried out to the Lord God. They said to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you were bringing us out here in the desert to die?"
Well, that's a bit melodramatic, isn't it?
That's a long word. Yes, it was a bit melodramatic, but it was true. They were in fear of their lives. They thought that Pharaoh and all his armies were going to kill them.
Oh dear.
Oh dear is right. Anyway, Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid, stand firm, and you will see the deliverance, the rescue that the Lord will bring to you today. The Egyptians you see here, all these bad guys, you'll never see them again."
Well, that's something of a bold claim, isn't it? What is he going to do? Make them disappear? Abracadabra!
No, you just wait and see. You just wait and see. The Lord will fight for you, is what Moses said. You need only to be still.
What, they don't need to do anything? They don't even need to go and fight?
They don't even need to go and fight. No, the Lord is going to be with them. Because the Lord God said to Moses,
Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch it out in your hand over the sea and divide the water so the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground.
What? He's going to separate the sea in two?
He's going to separate the sea in two so that they can cross right through the sea.
Ooh.
And I will harden the heart, said God, of all the Egyptians, so that they will go in after them. And I will gain the glory through Pharaoh and his army, through his chariots and his horsemen, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. I am God, when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen.
Then the angel of God, who had been travelling in front of Israel's armour, yes, I know what you're going to say, there was an angel. God is always there, and he's present in lots of different ways. In this case, he was present through an angel. He withdrew and went behind them to protect them. And the pillar of cloud also moved from the front all the way to the back behind them, coming between the armies of Egypt and the armies of Israel.
So God was protecting them.
God was protecting them. And wasn't it nice of him to show how he was protecting them? Because they could see that the cloud had moved.
Yes, that would be very comforting, I think.
It would be. Anyway, Moses stretched his hand out over the sea as God had told him, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned the sea into dry land. The waters were divided, cut in two, and the Israelites crossed on dry ground, with the wall of water high on their right and on their left. The Egyptians pursued them, and all the Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea.
Oh no, they're going to catch them.
They might catch them, but wait. Now, during the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army, and he threw it into confusion. Their wheels started to come off their chariots, and they had difficulty driving. And the Egyptians said, Uh-oh, let's get away from these Israelites. God's on their side. I think we're in trouble.
Well, they were right, weren't they?
They were right. The Lord was on their side. The Lord is fighting for them and against Egypt. And then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea went back into its place. The Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and the horsemen. The entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the Israelites was trapped in the sea. And after that there was silence, except for the sound of the lapping water. There was no more army of Egypt.
Cool. That's very sad.
I'm afraid it is very sad. But they did choose to chase God's people. And they knew they shouldn't have done that. And sadly, they got their just desserts.
Oh, that is still very sad. But God did win the victory for the Israelites.
God did win the victory for the Israelites. And then everybody would know, even the people in Egypt, that God is the Lord and God of all.
Yay, that's good.
So, the Israelites, what about them?
Well, were they all safe?
They were all safe. They went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and their left, as I said. And that day the Lord saved Israel from the hands of all the Egyptians. And when the Israelites saw the mighty hand of the Lord displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord.
They were frightened of God.
Well, yes, because God is awesome. But they weren't just frightened. They were full of respect for him, because they knew how powerful he was, but also how much he loved his special people to save them from the Egyptians.
Wow, that's a great story.
It is a great story. It's one of many great stories that are in the Bible. And I'm sure you'll all be hearing another bedtime Bible story very soon. But as for us, that's us, isn't it?
Yes, that's us. I don't think we've got anything else to add.
So would you like to say goodbye to everyone?
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
And goodbye from me too. Take care. God bless. Good night.